This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening to all members in Chennai who have joined today's webinar. And good morning to our guest speaker, Mr. Bhanu Viswanadha, who joins us from sunny California in US. I'm Vijay Narayanan, VP Professional Development of the PMI Chennai chapter, and I will be your host for this session. This is the 9th webinar in the series of webinars since the lockdown. Once again, I wish to extend my sincere thanks to all chapter members for supporting this webinar series, joining us in large numbers for every session. As always, a few quick announcements for those of you joining this webinar for the first time. Please can I request everyone other than the speaker to be on mute throughout the session. Also, please turn off your video for a better webinar experience. One PDU will be provided to all attendees of this session. In case you have not received your PDU for the earlier sessions, please do get in touch with me. I will share a link to a feedback form for this session on the chat window later during this webinar. Please fill and submit the form so that we can process your PDUs without any delay. If you have any questions for the speaker, please post them on the chat window during the session, and we can cover a few of them at the end of this webinar. Right, let's get into the session. The topic for today's session is Manager's Bridge to Agility, and it's going to be presented by Mr. Bhanu Viswanadha. Mr. Bhanu is a PMP and PMICC credentials holder and is currently working as an IT architect at NetApp USA. He has held various positions, including program manager at a major retail and healthcare company and technical leader at APL Limited. While he was the PMO manager at Safeway Incorporation, he implemented a process for recruiting, mentoring, and motivating the Safeway project management community. After moving to the United States in 1999 as a technical advisor, he adopted project management as a career in 2003. In 2005, Bhanu achieved his PMP certification and has progressively led large enterprise-wide IT projects in the areas of linear and logistics operations, PeopleSoft, data warehousing, and business intelligence at Fortune 100 companies. Bhanu has been a member of the PMI Silicon Valley chapter, as he mentioned earlier, and that's since 2010. His personal achievements include both the CEO Award and the CIO Award at Safeway Incorporation. Bhanu's other projects include delivering a training program for project manager, coaching, mentoring in both waterfall and agile methodologies. He also has been an adjunct professor at the Golden Gate University, Cogswell Polytechnical College, and he's a past president at the PMI Silicon Valley chapter. Bhanu has masters in mathematics from IIT Kharagpur and Master of Technology in Mathematical Modeling and Simulation from the University of Pune in India. So without further ado, it is our pleasure to welcome a multi-talented speaker, Mr. Bhanu Viswanadha, to this webinar. Welcome, Bhanu, and over to you.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you all for the approximately 64, the count is increasing, of the participants that are joining. And it's indeed my pleasure to talk to you today and share whatever little knowledge I have around the Agile and how do we transform from a manager leader mindset to Agile mindset so that we get better value for our customers. So my sincere thanks to Prasanna, who is my LIMSI classmate, for giving me this opportunity and asking me that whether I can do this presentation. I said, why not? Again, as Vijay mentioned, any questions, you can put it on the chat and Vijay will facilitate that. And the idea is to really answer or address all the questions, which if I know, obviously, you are all great professionals. There will be some questions maybe I might not have an answer that we will research together later on to find the right answer. Okay. With that, let me start sharing my, I think you all see my screen, right? This one?
Yes, we can see your screen. Please, can you put it into the presentation mode, Mr. Bhanu?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is in the presentation mode. Can you see that?
We can see just the front slide, which says Leaders, Managers, Bridge to Agility. Maybe if you just scroll forward a slide, maybe we'll see.
Yeah, let's see. Do you see that?
No, would you mind sharing again? Maybe stop sharing and sharing again. That's better
Yeah,
now.
that's what
Yeah,
I think.
it's gone. Yeah, it's gone to the next slide now. Yeah.
Now that's what we have to do, I guess. When I sharing. Okay, share.
Yes, we're back again. We can see your screen. Yeah.
What about full-fledged?
Yeah, if you could.
Do you see it in full?
Not yet. It's just taking time, I think.
Let me turn off my video.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
How about now? Do you see the full-fledged?
Not in the presentation mode yet.
Okay. Let me.
Oh, we can see the full. We can see the slide. So it's okay. Maybe you could continue. Yeah, this is
Okay.
fine. So
That's okay.
the slide moves. That's fine. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, guys. The title of this today's session is Leaders, Managers, Bridge to Agility, because all of us are in a place where we call ourselves as project managers or managers, and then suddenly we are hearing everywhere the word agile. The first thoughts of my agility comes when about 10 years ago, the term agile was coined by the people just to avoid entering time. Because when Microsoft Project was introduced to our organization, time tracking was made mandatory for everybody up to the directors level. Then one person came up with this bright idea called Agile and started saying that Agile does not need time tracking. It's all about not following a plan and not having these timesheets and not having a complete scope, those type of things. Vijay, can you mute everybody? We are hearing a lot of noise.
Yes, I've just done that. Yeah.
Okay, good. So here is the thing, right? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This is a very good quote that I got really interested in. That's why I carry this quote to all my presentations, because it's all in the mind. It's all how you perceive and how you look at things. That matters a lot. Then everything will fall in place. That's why I like that quote. Briefly about me, since you're all from India, I hope you can recognize the person on the top picture, looking at whatever I'm pretending to do. He is none other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. That time he was director of DRDO, and that picture was taken as part of our Agni 1 missile launch in 1989. The second one is a speaker from Japan, and the third is from my San Jose State University. When every semester I deliver guest lectures there. That is the class picture. And of course, every week I do hiking here called Mission Peak, which is around 9 miles round trip. I do that without fail every Saturday or every Sunday. A lot of certifications because I believe in continuous learning. As a matter of fact, straight hot from the press, last evening I cleared my TOGAF, the Enterprise Architecture Part 1 exam. I really believe in giving back. So I talk to a lot of people in preparing for PMP, PMICC, and I work with people to clean up their Microsoft project schedules. So far, I'm doing it for free because I'm really passionate about sharing knowledge. So this is an open offer to all of you. If you have got something and if you need some help in these areas, connect me on LinkedIn and reach out to me, and whatever little I can help, I will definitely do it for you. So what are takeaways from today's session? We'll be looking at what is an agile mindset. We will look at some of the basics, and from a leader management perspective, understand what changes. Before we get any further, let me tell you what is agile mindset according to me. When you are in a team, there is no place to even remotely utter the sentence, "It's not my job." If you still have it in your mind, and if you say at least once, "It's not my job," that means you're not really adapted to that agile mindset. If you finish your work and if you see that your colleagues are struggling, you should be able to reach out to them and say, "How can I help you?" That is the agile mindset. Similarly, if you have done something, if you know something, and the other team member is struggling in achieving the same, you should not feel happy that that guy is struggling. I know how much I struggled to get that. Instead, you should have the mindset to walk to that person and say, "Oh, I've done this before. Let me tell you, here is how it should be done." Because what happens is, once that person moves on, who knows, tomorrow that person may come up with some innovation idea or innovative idea which will be helpful to the team. So that is agile mindset. As you all can see from this, there is a left side of the brain and there is a right side of the brain. The right side is all emotional and social. That means the values are
Sorry to
all,
interrupt.
yeah.
Not sure if you're changing your slides. We are still seeing the who's Bhanu slide only.
I'm changing. Let me see. Maybe I'm not sharing the right one.
No, it's okay.
Now
There's
it
a
is.
small delay. I think we can see it. It
You
just
can see
takes a
it
while
now?
to, yeah, we can see the Agile Mindset
Okay, good.
screen. I think that's a
Okay.
small delay. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, blame it on the network.
It is not in presentation mode.
Which one?
No, sorry, carry on. Yeah, I think we're good. We're good.
Okay, good. So the emotional and social values are respect for people. Guys, that is the number one thing. Whoever is on our team, whoever that we are trying to connect on a day-to-day basis, on an everyday life, we should respect them first. With respect comes the trust. Once you have the respect and trust, then you will see that people are demonstrating the courage and the openness to share things with you. It may not be the right thing or it may not be a pleasant thing to share with you, but since you have built the trust and respect for them, the individuals will be able to come and talk to you exactly what is happening. If you don't do that, what you hear from the people is always everything is good. Until the last minute, you will not know what is going wrong. That is the reason why these emotional and social principles are so important when you want to adapt to this agile mindset. Then on the left hand side is the tools and various frameworks. Agile has gone into so many variations. People talk about SAFe, Kanban, Scrum, XP, whatnot. A lot of frameworks. It is better. Nowadays, PMI is talking about disciplined agile. What they are talking really is, don't worry about what framework the team is adopting. Go with it. Don't try to impose something on them. Instead, try to see how you can support those teams in whatever they are good at or whatever your organization is good at, so that you focus on the customer-centric value delivery. That's all DA is talking about. So in the coming years, you will see a lot of DA push from the PMI. Great people, around 17 of them, they met in Utah, United States, and they were wondering why there is not much success in IT projects, particularly. And they were wondering what is going on here. Why the same waterfall methodology, which is predictive in nature, works so well for construction and engineering projects is not working for these IT projects. Over period of deliberations, they all agreed and came up with this manifesto for agile software development. Some of you might have seen this before. So they say individuals and interactions over process and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, responding to change over following plan. And then they want to really make sure that they are not saying that waterfall is not right or waterfall has no value. They came up with this last statement. While there is value in the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. So what it really means is, forget about the process or a tool. First, focus on individuals and their communications. Similarly, working software over comprehensive documentation. Let us say you are in a waterfall world. The project starts in, say, January, and end of April, you go and say, yes, we have finished the requirements document and we have got a great project plan in place. Do you think a business or a customer will be really happy with it? Because they didn't see any value. So what? For them, it is another document that you are producing. But 4 months over into the project, you didn't deliver any value. That's why they said working software is the primary measure of success of what we are doing. Another is customer collaboration. Here, customer means your suppliers, your offshore company, everybody. Focus on contract, but bring them as part of your team. Share with them. Treat them as part of your team. Tell them what is going on and what are the problems that you are facing. The contract can happen. So put the focus on collaborating with them. Similarly, responding to change or following a plan. This is what they're directly coming at waterfall. What happens in waterfall? We put the project plan, we say it is baselined, and any change comes, we say go through the integrated change control process. And there is a delay. But here what they're saying is, be ready. If the customer comes and says, my market conditions have changed or my priorities have changed, can you work on this particular feature? You should have the mindset to say, yes, let's take a look at it and then see how we can address this as soon as possible. Maybe not in the current sprint, maybe in the next sprint, like that. So that is what the mindset here is, responding to change or following a plan.
Bhanu, sorry to interrupt. Do you mind if I present? Because the slides don't appear to be moving forward.
No problem. No change.
If you wouldn't mind. Okay,
Yeah,
brilliant.
so
let me present. So I'll move the slides along as we speak.
Yep, sure. I'm minimizing.
Okay.
Can you see?
1 second. I'm just yeah, I think it's not letting me take over.
How do I do that?
So maybe if we stop presenting, let me see if I can give you back the access, or I'll try to present it. Okay, I think you have stopped presenting now, I think.
I don't see any presentation here per se.
Okay, I think you have stopped presenting now, I think.
Okay, good.
Let me see if I can start presenting, if it lets me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm starting to present, but it's not letting me present. I don't know why.
Even
okay,
I don't see
sorry, I'll have to give you back the control, but hopefully let's carry on. Let's not
Okay, you made the presentations, share. paused. There is no pause anywhere. Show Microsoft Word, the end screen.
Yeah, I think it's back now. We can see the screen again.
Okay, and it should be in presentation mode now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now it's better. Yes.
Okay, guys.
Finally, we're back. Sorry about that.
I went back and started sharing everything. I don't want to share because it looks like sharing the particular screen is having an issue.
I see. Right. Okay. Sorry about that technical glitch. Thank you.
Okay, guys, blame it on the technology, okay? Not on Vijay. So the Agile principles simplified. If you look at the Agile documentation, you will see 12 principles with at least 3 or 4 sentences for each one of them. So I thought instead of going through that, I will just put them in 1 or 2 words. What are those 12 principles are? The first one is focused around customer satisfaction because customer is the king. Whatever we do, we have to work towards the success or the greater success of the customers. That's why everything is customer centric. Second one is welcome changes because that is the mindset that we should have. We should never say a customer that, oh, we are busy, come back tomorrow. We should able to say that, okay, let's take a look at it and then see how fast we can cater for this change in priority. Similarly, frequent delivery. That is what it has come, either the 2 weeks or 3 weeks time period or time boxed that you put, and then say that every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I will come to you and demonstrate to you what I am doing for you so that you got the chance to change or communicate back to us if something is not right. Then the fourth one, co-located teams, but in the current situation, people may say that this is no longer valid because of the situation that is going on, everything is virtual. So co-located, the best we can do in these circumstances is to make sure that we are all on the Zoom or WebEx or whatever is the virtual platform. But as far as possible, if your technology allows, put the video on because that is the best you can get as a co-located feeling. Next one is motivated individuals. Everybody should have the passion and energy to work on that particular thing. So you as a leader manager should be able to encourage or tell the people what they are doing, how it aligns with your corporate vision and mission, and how they are contributing to the enterprise success. Once you are able to demonstrate that, then you will see that people will have more enthusiasm to work on a particular task. But if they get a feeling that whatever they are doing has no visibility or it is not contributing to the organization's vision and mission, they may not be will be able to work on that project or show interest. Next one is face-to-face contact because this is more important. I hope all of you are project managers. If you have a troubled or a tough team member to deal with, a team member or a stakeholder, the moment you go and have a lunch or a coffee with that person, the whole perception changes. The way that person behaves with you changes. That's the reason why I keep saying in my classes, never eat lunch alone. Utilize that lunch time to make that network connection or personal connection with that tough stakeholder or a team member so that there will be definitive change the way you communicate. Next one is working software is the primary measure of success. It doesn't matter whether you spent 80 hours or 160 hours or 240 hours. What is that the customer is seeing in terms of value? That is more important. The next one is constant and sustainable pace. Here means we should be able to demonstrate that in a given time period, I can deliver so many features or so many requirements to completeness as we agreed. That is what at a After a few sprints, or after say 1 month into the project, you should be able to communicate what exactly you are going to deliver, because it cannot be a variable anymore. That is what is sustainable pace means. The next one is continuous attention to the details. So you are constantly looking, how can I improve this? How can I improve the architecture? Or how can I improve the solution? So that you are always thinking about delivering better value to the customer. The next one is simplicity. Keep things simple. It doesn't matter how complex or how great you are trying to demonstrate your architecture skills. The solution should work. That is what the simplicity. Next one is self-organization. In Agile, there is no role called manager. There are only coaches and facilitators, because what is expected is the team, once they start working, they understand what is working well, what is not working well, and how they can improve as a team. That's why Agile teams are self-organizing in nature. The last one is regular reflection. This is also called, in waterfall world, lessons learned, and in Agile world, it's called retrospectives. Means we as a team, we want to know, and we should have the courage to tell if some team member is not putting his or her 100%. We should be able to tell in the retrospective meeting that you need to change, or we expect better things from you. That is what is reflection. So Agile mindset in a nutshell is 4 values, 12 principles, and many practices. Some of the basic concepts: product backlog, which is equivalent to your requirements document in waterfall, and the product backlog has the characteristics of the acronym DEEP. DEEP stands for detailed, emerging, estimable, and prioritized. The word prioritized is there. That is where the customer, or in an Agile world, the product owner, will be responsible to make sure that the team is working on the requirements which are of most value to the customers. Then sprint planning. Once the customer or product owner has given the team that here is the features that I want you to work on, the team went into a planning session. That's why in Agile, the planning happens every 2 weeks. It's a continuous process. If somebody says Agile means no planning, that means they have not even understood what is basic Agile is. So that's what they do. Okay, what is this what is this feature? How do I decompose? Because I'm using the word decompose because many of you might have come from waterfall world. That's what we do in WBS. We decompose that feature into more manageable tasks called user stories, and then we start estimating them, so that we can say, okay, Mr. Product Owner, you gave us 4 features, but based on our capacity and the complexity of the features, we can only work on 2 in these 2 weeks, or we can only work on 3 in these 2 weeks. That's what. It is a continuous communication, open communication with the product owner and the team. Of course, the Scrum Master is there to make sure that the team understands the Agile values and the product owner understands the Agile mindset, and he acts as a coach or a facilitator. Based on the sprint planning, whatever you decomposed and agreed upon, they put it to a list. That is what is called sprint backlog. So what is a sprint backlog? In a waterfall world, it is your work package. User stories, that is where you start estimating or decomposing the feature into more manageable works. They have a characteristic called invest. What is invest stands for? Independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, simple, and testable. So it cannot be that, oh, I finished this particular user story, but it has of no value until someone else finishes the user story. Because once you say that it is done, it is the team's responsibility to make sure that the finished work is valuable to the customer. Then comes the ceremonies that we do in Agile. Daily stand-up, it's a 15-minute meeting where the team comes and then basically answers 3 questions. What did I do yesterday towards the sprint goal? What am I going to do today towards the sprint goal? And is there any impediments or roadblocks that I need help with? Remember, in this one, there will be no debate or discussion. If someone has not worked anything on the towards the sprint goal, they remain silent. And it is the duty of the Scrum Master or the person who is facilitating the daily stand-up to create the list of items, which we call them as parking lot items, which requires detailed discussion or a separate meeting. Then once we do the work, we review the work, and then we do a sprint demo to the product owner. In a waterfall world, this is what is your user acceptance. That is what a sprint demo is for. Here, the primary user is product owner. He or she may bring other stakeholders into the meeting, but it is primarily the duty of the responsibility of the product owner to say whether the particular work is accepted or not accepted. All the accepted stories will be counted towards what we are looking at, another word called velocity of the team. Velocity is nothing but how much pace or what speed I am working, how many features that I am delivering in a given sprint. Then sprint retrospective, which is equivalent to your lessons learned. In waterfall, we normally do lessons learned at the end of every phase, that discovery, initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, control, and closing. Here, we do the retrospective at the end of every sprint, because this is how we say that the team is self-managing and self-organizing. Once you have done the work, once the user stories have been accepted, they will go into something called release. And here, what you have to remember is the release happens on demand, because it's the customer or the business who will decide when a particular feature should be released to the end user. Just because IT has finished the work doesn't mean that it will be automatically visible to the end users. It is the prerogative of the business users to release the features to the end customer. Your job as an IT team is to keep delivering the valuable software, package them, and make it ready for release. Some of the roles: product owner, whose primary responsibility is to maintain the product backlog. The Scrum Master, who is there to make sure that the team is working on the prioritized items, and he or she is there to remove any roadblocks or blocks for the team to perform. And the team, their primary focus is working on those agreed features and delivering the working software. The next 2 things are your sort of status reports or progress reports that you demonstrate what is going on in the terms of task boards and burn down charts. The purpose of these 2 is really make sure that those people who are interested, they are not coming and disturbing the team from doing the work. Any questions? Vijay, you have any questions on the chat?
Nothing at the moment, but please do carry on. I'll remind the
Okay.
participants to post their questions. We'll cover them about 10-15 minutes prior to the end.
Okay, good. So now comes you as a leader manager. How your responsibilities will change? The first thing you have to do is allow the teams to self-manage. Means there is nothing called command and control. You are not going there to say that, like in waterfall we ask, right? How much is done? What is the percentage completion? You should not be having that type of mindset. You should allow the teams to self-manage and then complete the work. Adapt to the team's process. If the team is comfortable, let us say working from 10 to 6, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Adapt to that. Don't say that everybody has to come by 8. My working hours are 8 to 4. Okay. So have that mindset to understand what is the team comfortable with and adapt to their style. Assume different leadership styles. This is even valid in waterfall world also, because every team member is not the same. They will have different characteristics. So you as a leader manager should have the mindset or leadership style to really work with them. That is why you have to assume different leadership styles. Next one is lead by serving. This is what we call as servant leadership. In servant leadership, the primary focus is on the team first or the other person first. It's not about you. It is about helping the team to succeed or helping the other person to succeed. Next one is possess self-awareness. Those who of you are aware of emotional intelligence, the self-awareness is the primary thing, because you need to have first know who you are. What is your strengths? What is your weakness? Once you are self-aware, then only you can start understanding the other person better, or you will become socially aware. Once you are socially aware, then only you can practice what is called empathy. Because empathy is nothing but looking at the situation from the other person's perspective. Next one is partner with stakeholders, the product owner and the other IT and business people, so that again the team is not getting disturbed, but you are working as a servant leader for the team. You are making sure that all the things that are necessary for the team to succeed are there in place. Facilitate collaboration. It's not about individuals. Guys, in Agile, never try to recognize an individual. Recognize the team. Because if you start recognizing the individuals, you are breaking the team. So people may be doing great job, but stop resisting and calling out that so and so has done a great job. Instead say team 1 has done a great job or team 2 has done a great job from what they have delivered. Again, don't do the mistake of comparing teams, because team 1 may be working on simple user stories or simple features. Team 2 may be working on very complex features. So never compare the teams in terms of the velocity of what they are delivering. Your primary focus is remove impediments. And the last one, guys, I think most of you would have come from a technical background or a developer background. We need to first relinquish the inner taskmaster in us. I see a lot of PMs. I ask the question, actually, when I interview people for project manager roles, I ask a basic question. Who does the estimation of the tasks? Many project people will say, oh, I do that because I used to do it before, so I put the number of hours it will take. That is wrong, guys. The estimates have to come from the person who is doing the work, because you don't know what is their skill level or what is their confidence level. So they will tell you, you can negotiate if it is too high or too low, but the primary estimate has to come from the person who is doing the work. Just because you have done it in the past doesn't mean that you will go with that estimate or you will force some estimates on the people. That's what it is. Relinquish the inner taskmaster in you. You have to move on from that developer mindset into a leader manager mindset. Setting expectations. Agile is a mindset change for everyone, so be patient. Change will not happen overnight. Any change will be successful only if you implement the change in small increments. As teams learn, they will make necessary adjustments to achieve that sustainable pace. Guide the team into an agile adoption over time. Instead of saying that from today we are agile, that's not going to work. If you do all these things, what are you doing? What are you achieving? You are delivering the value faster, ultimately making the customers happy. Responsibility. Set up the team for success. It is your job as a leader manager to make sure that the organizational support is there for team to adopt agile. And when you find that some team has successfully adopted agile and delivering greater value, you be the champion to arrange some brown bag sessions or road trips to tell the other people in the organization how successful this team was by adopting to agile. So that way you make these teams feel proud about their achievements. Support the team. Don't wait for people to come and ask you for help. Sit with the team, and by way of sitting in the team, you can understand what the team needs, if they need any help. So that way you can proactively help the team by removing any obstacles, so that again the team is focused on delivering the value. Behaviors. Delegate decision to the lowest possible level. That means if they make the decision and if something goes wrong, don't blame them. You take the responsibility and you say that yes, it is a team decision and it has not gone well, but we will correct it. So don't tell that so and so individual has made the decision, so he or she is to be blamed. Hold the team accountable for the results by way of what type of working software they are producing in every sprint. Celebrate your team's success. Have a servant leader mindset. Again, people first. Foster and increase trust. Talk straight. Create transparency. And then listen to them. Once you put all these things, the team will be able to come and tell you what exactly is not going right. So that way, you are making more progress towards achieving better value. Be tolerant. Sometimes things may go wrong. If somebody says some solution will work, after doing the work, it may come back and say that it didn't work. Be open for it. And respect the autonomy of the team. Join the agile ceremonies like sprint planning, sprint review, sprint demo, sprint retrospective. Because those are the times that you will know what is going on with the team. Don't be a person who will be sitting in your own cube and then waiting for the team to come to you. Negative behaviors, micromanaging, command and control. That is not going to work, guys. That too, if you are working with millennials who are coming to the jobs now, they hate to be told how to do it. They just want to say what to do. They don't want you to say how to do it. So resist the temptation of telling how to do it to the individual. Leave it to them, because they will come up with better ideas, or that is how innovation happens. Similarly, over allocating, task switching means if the team is saying I can only work on 2 at a time, don't force that you can do 3. Listen to the team, support the team. Okay? Common mistakes. Agile means no documentation. Guys, Agile never says no documentation. What Agile says is just enough documentation. But if you are working on a compliance or a regulatory project, there is nothing you can say that we cannot document, because that is by law or by rule, you need to document. Next one is Agile means cowboy coding. By the sheer nature of the engineers, they just listen to the requirement and start coding. No, that is not what is Agile means. Agile means there is a planning at the beginning of the sprint. Next one is you can piecemeal Agile practices and then say that we are Agile. It's not going to work. Another misconception is Agile is only for engineering teams. That is not right. Not having an Agile champion. A lot of people think that why we need a Scrum Master. Like I can hear a lot of engineering teams saying, oh, why do we need a project manager? This guy is only coming and asking about the status. No, guys, respect the role. Tell the team, don't say this to the team and say you are self-organizing, so you go get it. If the team comes to you for help, help them. If you see that the team needs help, go help them. Don't wait. Lack of business participation. It is your job as a leader, manager, or a scrum master, or a product owner to make sure that there is enough participation from the stakeholders, and not valuing the retrospectives, thinking that, oh, the team will take care of it, let me not go there. Not have that mindset. You should be able to go and do that. Then values mismatch. Again, it's not your values. You as a servant leader should adapt to the team's way of working. I think that is the last slide that we have got into. So with all this, let's get better at being agile. Here is a question for the audience. Anybody from the audience? Who can differentiate between being agile and doing agile? Anybody?
Yeah, feel free to unmute and respond.
Yeah. Is there any budget for Agile or there no budget?
Which one?
In Agile practices, there is a budget, or without budget we can run the project?
No, there is budget. So we didn't cover the budget portion of it. We are just talking about the agile mindset. We didn't go through the approval process that we do it in waterfall, right? The discovery phase, the cost estimation, the CBA, cost benefit analysis, ROI, all those IRR. We didn't get into those type of things. Yes, definitely there will be cost. Nothing comes for free, guys.
Yeah, when okay. If continuously changing the our project scope or project work, there may be a chances of increasing the budget, no?
Yeah, okay. Since you asked that question, this is generally we teach it in the ACP bootcamp. In waterfall, the requirements are fixed, or the scope is fixed. For a fixed scope, when you say that I baseline the plan, you are delivering the fixed scope within that fixed money and the schedule. The scope is fixed, cost is fixed, schedule is fixed when you put the baseline. While you move forward, the schedule may slip, okay, but the scope, unless you approve the change request, will not change. But in Agile, you start with, let's say that I've got 6 months for this particular effort. I have a 2-week sprint. That means I have got 12 sprints and I've got a list of requirements. So I will deliver whatever can happen in the 12 weeks. So the scope is not fixed. And the list of items also can change depending on the customer's priorities. That is the reason why that responding to change is there as one of the values. Okay, in Agile, you are not delivering the whole backlog. Just because it is there, If your 6 months or 12 sprints are over, you may not deliver everything. That is the reason why the backlog is prioritized. That means you are delivering what is most valuable in the given time frame and in the given manner. Does it answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sorry, going back to being agile and
Doing agile.
yeah, doing agile. Yes.
Okay.
Being agile is more towards the team, the behavioral part of it, and then doing agile is more on the following the process. Is that right?
Exactly. Just because you are having a daily stand-up and a sprint review, some sort of a retrospective, doesn't mean that you're agile. First, you need to start being agile, right? Having that agile mindset that we are a team, okay? And we are listening to the customer. We are taking the customer's feedback into consideration in what we are doing. That is what is being agile. Doing agile is the ceremonies. Yes, we have said that. That's right.
Thank you, Bhanu. I have some questions from our members.
Yep.
So if I can just go through them with you. Ganesh would like to know the difference between a Scrum Master and a Project Manager. Are they same, or what the differences are between the two?
Okay, here is my answer to that, because this comes up in every session. If you are a project manager who believes in maintaining the plan and going to the teams once in a week and asking for percentage completion, is it done, is it done, then you will not be a good Scrum Master. All the roles look similar, but you need to have a different mindset of allowing the teams to perform rather than you focus only on asking for the progress updates. Yes, if you have a mindset of openness while being a project manager, transitioning to a Scrum Master will be an easy thing. And if you're a project manager with the business knowledge or the domain knowledge, that means you are a technical project manager, then you should look at the product owner role rather than a Scrum Master role.
Okay. Anandan would like to know, is it fair or reasonable to expect customers to get involved continuously in Agile?
Yep, that's the reason why the product owner is there. It is product owner's job is to really work with the customers on a daily basis to understand what is the priorities, and then that's what we call it as product backlog grooming. That's what the product owner does while the team is working on the user stories and delivering the value. Because ultimately it is a product owner's responsibility to make sure that the customers are involved, the customers are informed, and the customers are feeling excited.
Okay, thank you. Shanta Kumar has a question. Value realization depends on individual functions and activity lead time. In this context, how is it really possible to reach value?
That's where the team's capacity or team skills comes into picture of how well they understood the features and then how well they are able to communicate to the product owner. This is how this particular feature can be split so that at the end of this 2-week sprint, this is what you will see, so that gets excited. The customers get excited or the product owner gets excited. Yes, it is not that you wait for 6 months to see what I am doing. It is the skill of the team that comes into picture to decompose into the most value. Remember the user story acronym: invest, independent, negotiable, valuable. That is what it is.
Thank you. The next question is from Mr. Raghunath. My project is currently working in waterfall. They want to quickly jump to SAFe methodology of working in 6 to 8 months. I know it takes time to have the mindset. May I have your thoughts and insights and steps that we need to take? This is from moving from waterfall to the SAFe implementation of Agile.
Yep, SAFe is for enterprise, but again, the foundation of SAFe, if you go to scaledagileFramework.com, the foundation is still the team level Scrum. So first you need to get the Scrum teams in place, and there is an implementation roadmap recommended by the SAFe at the bottom of their picture. So what you can do is first start small. Do not start with big bang. Identify few teams which have got that attitude or positive energy to adopt Agile. Try with them, get the success, and then demonstrate to the other teams how valuable it is or how it has worked. That way, your transition will become easy. SAFe is nothing but, instead of talking about one Scrum team, it is a people we are talking about more than 100. That means multiple Scrum teams. And then instead of doing sprint planning, what we do in SAFe is called product increment or PI planning.
Thank you.
It
Next
is
one is from
doable.
Seshadri.
Yeah.
Sorry. The next one is from Seshadri. We're doing a lot of documentation in waterfall, high-level design, low-level design, etc. How are these followed in Agile? So in terms of documentations.
Again, we didn't get into the details of what is the user story will look like or what happens in sprint planning. Normally, the user story level, the sprint planning level, everything comes in with 3 C's: card, conversation, and confirmation. Card is nothing but your what it is. Conversation is nothing but what the particular thing should do. Okay. And then conversation is nothing but your acceptance criteria. So on a given card, you should have the what and what are the acceptance criteria, so that when you start looking at it, you will not be doing any high level documentation, low level documentation, design documentation, deployment documentation. Okay, there will be a solution thing that you will be presenting at an overall thing, but come to sprint level, you will be focused only on this. Yes, there is a concept called sprint zero, where you do all this preparatory work. So that is the place you will have the overall solution design agreed upon, so that when you start working from sprint one, you are not focused on any more documentation. Sheshadri, are you good? Maybe he's on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, thank you. Yes, we got a yes from Seshadri. I'll move on to the next one. We'll probably do a couple of more if that's okay, Bhanu. The next one's from Raja. How do we manage between don't blame anyone for failure versus making them take ownership of failure?
Oh, that's a great question. Guys, as a leader manager, praise in public, criticize in private. If you follow that simple principle, that means if somebody has done a great job, their experiment succeeded, praise them in the team meeting. That so and so has come up with this idea and it worked. So that's how you praise them. But let us say the experiment has failed. Talk that individual aside, talk to that individual and say, okay, you tried this, that's great, but it didn't go well. So don't worry about it. Okay. But next time, little bit be careful. So if you follow this principle, right, automatically you will be ensuring that you are not blaming the individual in public.
Thank you. That's a very good tip there. Right. The next one's from Vasan. What's your take on disciplined agile? When agile came first, it was thought of as a kind of disciplined way of project management. Now we need to go for disciplined agile.
Okay, see, here's the thing, right? Agile came, and then there are so many variations of Agile came into picture. Scrum, Kanban, XP, pair programming, less, and I think DSS, Crystal, so many things have come. Now people are confused. So what disciplined Agile really says is there is a 7 or 8 step process with customer in the middle. And basically what they are saying is, again, Working software is the primary measure of success. But what Disciplined Agile says is, don't look at working software. See, instead of working software, valuable software. If suppose say you produced a working code and it works as expected, but if the customer doesn't want it, then you have wasted your sprint. So that is where Disciplined Agile is coming into, saying that put the customer value in the center and then start working towards whatever is the framework that you want to adopt, Scrum or Agile or XP or Kanban or whatever you want to do, but your primary should be the customer value. So that is what Disciplined Agile is talking about. Disciplined Agile is not prescribing any particular way of doing things. Instead, what they are saying is you continue to do what you are doing with the framework that you have adopted, but adopt these values, the Disciplined Agile values, so that you will become more successful.
Thank you, Bhanu. Really, last couple of questions, I promise. Your topic is incredibly popular today. I have received so many questions. I'm trying to do justice to some of them. The next one's from Sashi Kumar. Is it necessary to have dedicated resources for Agile? And what if we have multiple projects or Scrum teams concurrently running?
That's a wrong mindset. Yes, if the Scrum team is there, they are dedicated resources. Okay, that's why remember one of the slides I showed, no multitasking, task switching. Guys, if you are into that type of things, you will never be successful as an Agile organization or an Agile team. Once you formed a Scrum team, make sure that these people are available to work on the sprint goals, and don't pull them day in and day out saying that there is a P1, come work on this, there is a CEO thing, come work on this. If you are doing that, then you are not succeeding as Agile. You are set for failure only.
Thank you, Bhanu. And the last question, and we'll wrap up after this question. Anand Ahuja asks, what about risk management in Agile, and how is it actually done?
Risk management is continuous process in Agile. Some teams, they maintain risk burn down charts. Again, we have not got into the full details of Agile here, but yes, risk is talked at every stage when you are doing the sprint planning. That's where risk is talked about, and teams maintain risk burn down charts as separate dashboards or separate reports.
Thank you, Bhanu. Incredibly grateful for all your insights on Agile, and I'm sure this session would have been so useful for all the project managers attending this webinar today. A sincere thanks to you for taking this time off on an early Saturday morning for you. And also, I'd like to thank Prasanna if he's on the session today. Thank you for introducing Bhanu to this session.
Yeah, thanks, Bhanu. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
sharing your time. It was a wonderful session, as usual.
Yep. Thank you once again, Bhanu. Appreciate, and a big thank you for this session.
Okay, guys. Thank you. I'm quitting because I need to get ready for my PMP boot camp.
Have a wonderful
day.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
And thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for all the questions.
Thank you.
Yep. Hopefully this session was useful to you all.
Thank you, Vijay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye all. Bye-bye.
Feedback form?
It's on the chat window. I'll post it again. I'm posting it again on the chat window.
Yeah.
One moment. Anyone who has not done the feedback, please do.
I'm not able to see that. The chat window is not coming.
It's not. Sorry, who's talking at the moment?
Viswanathan.
Viswanathan. Okay. One moment, Viswanathan. I'm just sending this to you right now.
By mail?
On the are you able to see on the chat window at all? No.
I'm not able to see the chat window. I get only audio options, edit, feedback. Yeah.
Oh, I
Mobile
see.
app.
Right. And you can't see a speech bubble at the top somewhere. There's a small.
Which one?
Okay. Okay. Let me. Shall I message you offline?
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
No problem. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sending it
Thank
to
you
right
so
away.
much.
No problem.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.